Okay, so in this sprint, we're taking a look at the moving the terrain kind of to the scene level. So in the user content file, the user loads their terrain with their file, the height map data, setting all the other variables and assigning the texture they want. Inside of the actual scene, they go ahead and set the terrain to that object. It goes ahead and assigns it to a pointer for the scene. And then when we set the collision terrain for a specific object, we'll go through the scene, go to our collision manager, create a new dispatch with a new test terrain command, passing in the collidable object. And then, so right now, basically going through each of those objects individually. Right now I don't have the intersection collision code yet detached from the terrain. So just for the time being, still goes through the terrain just to detect that individually. If the objects are actually colliding, the collidable's collision terrain function will be called. So in this case for our hero tank, when it collides with our terrain, it'll call back to the terrain and call to align its position with it. So if we actually go ahead and run this real quick, we can see the tank responding to the terrain. Still not quite perfect, but still responding in some way. Now, in addition to this, just quickly showing off a couple different things I've been starting to work on for my game. Our hero tank, in addition to moving around, we can also change the direction we fire our bullets. So by pressing up, we can actually fire our bullets more directly upward, and by pressing down, we can fire them more horizontally. Now this one enemy right here, this is our roamer class, one of the roamer enemies. They are using the finite state machine. Currently just one state of just simply rotating around, but just quickly looking at the code for them. When we actually create them, we assign their current state. We have a roamer FSM state rotate right, and every frame they update that and look for the next state. So in this case, the rotate right, they're just simply rotating on the y-axis a certain amount just for now. And then we also just have a quick, in addition to that, just kind of a quick world map of all the planets in the solar system. This is going to be used probably as a backdrop for the title screen, but if time permits, it could also kind of be sort of like a world map to show where the player is going next between levels. So that's there as well. And then looking at our game document real quick, we've been able to flesh out some more details, a lot more details. The story itself is still pretty much the same. It's a third-person tank game set in space. You have a army of enemies called the Ravagers that come in and try to take your home planet. You try to fight them off, but they kick you off, and they're trying to take back the land that they used to own, but were kicked off for their brute nature. So it is your job to make your way back through the solar system and take out the Ravagers. So basically, you kind of go level by level, discovering new enemies and trying to use their tactics against them to progress. It's either about trying to find a way to get to the next planet or just battling a horde of enemies. It kind of depends on the level. So there's 9 levels currently planned. 2 of them I've tried to plan out specifically. I've got some specific plans for. Some more details for the 4 different enemies I have. Some other menu control details, and then just kind of a general schedule for what we'd be looking at, for what I was able to do this week and what I'd be looking to try and do for the next few weeks.